Usually as I work, I get quieter and quieter. You know? In fact, Elaine, or a portrait, or an animal, has features, you know, like your giraffe, you know, it had an expression, you know, and this board is so fantastic in being able to search for that expression. Mm-hmm. You know, you can move it around and change it, keep it soft, you know, and work back and forth, you know, and so as a portrait thing, it is absolutely incredible. This is an airbrush substitute, but it's also a texturing tool that applies a lot of, in this case, skin texture, you know, some of which you can use, some of which you can get rid of, you know. But the randomness of application and the randomness of line is important for any natural subject because there is so much variety. In any patch of skin, in any patch of hair, in any patch of fur, whatever, you know. So go with that idea, you know. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to put in as much variety as I can, you know, and then kind of pick and choose from it, you know.
Which one do you like and which one?
See the difference between patting it and wiping it, you know. It's a whole different thing.
So do you see already in your head how it's going to look like, or you still go with the flow?
I'm sorry?
Do you already see in your head how it's going to look like, or you just go with the flow?
It's coming. I mean, it's evolving, you know.
Now, is there a paper towel of choice?
Yeah. Viva.
Viva? Are you serious?
Yeah. It doesn't have a pattern embossed in it. Darker application initially here, and then it just works back like you guys do.
Looks like she's closing her knees on your head.
No.
Doesn't always look like that.
This will be a dark edge here, so I'll go with a gray behind it. You know, I don't want this edge very prominent. In fact, I'll lose that edge as much as I can and still maintain a head shape, you know, just to keep the eye away from here when I want it over here. You know, if I do a sharp edge here, the eye goes to, you know, and eyes go to sharp edges, high contrast, you know, and a lot of detail. So if you don't do those things, you know, you'll keep the eye from wandering there. You know?
I think it's out of focus, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting because when you look, the human eye, when it looks, you know, the point of focus is a left brain input. It's analytical, it's precise. The peripheral vision is right brain. It's real suggestive, it's real creative. It looks at the world with a totally different part of the brain than that focus does. So, creating a piece, if you do the exact same thing, you know, you create an analytical focus and a supportive background, you know, and that, I think, allows the viewer, I mean, the viewer's eye will hit here, you know, but it allows that peripheral vision, while looking at this piece, to participate in the creativity of the image, you know. So the viewer gets to participate as well.
Priceless.
This is, I mean, this is a painting thing, you know, but I'm trying to transfer it.
Entertains both sides of the brain.
Well, you do, you know, I mean, you guys do too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing, only there, you know, but there's, like that's about 3 foot by 6 foot on a piece of stuff, back in 76, 75, something like that. And I'd been working on SD for a number of years before that, but I had trouble with it.
Right.
I had trouble with the gluing it down, the flattening it out, you know, it popping up, you know, and couldn't do anything with it. I had to give money back on a couple of originals, you know, that had problems.
Failed.
And so that's when it's just, you know, by need that you develop something that doesn't have those physical problems with it. You know, the surface was good, except for the fact that it was wasn't water resistant. You know, I mean, if you put too much water on it, the clay would dissolve, you know, and turn into mud. The reason it's hide glue that they use to bind that clay. You know,
What kind of glue?
It's a hide glue, or a variation thereof, you know, but and some wonderful textures on it.
Yeah, I tried that with a sponge and I got all these god-awful air bubbles. I hadn't thought about using something like that.
You need to dry it out. You know, that's like a sponge will work as long as you dry it out pretty good. It's amazing how much ink remains on that tool after you've seemingly totally dried it out.
Do you work particular most of the time? Or
Yeah,
you work
almost
like-
always. Now, for bigger work, you need to get back, you know,
Yeah,
look at it, and so I do a lot of walking.
I have a real problem with that.
yeah. You can't work perpendicular with that. I mean,
Now, that's pretty dry, and see, I'm not leaving any puddles and no bubbles, you know, but I can cover a lot.
So that first, you were just trying to get it damp, or?
I hadn't realized enough.
Okay, so it's kind of,
Yeah, you get some ink on there to have something to work with, you know, even in the lighter areas, it's going to be extremely light. You know, you need to get some ink on there, and you can soften up edges as you go. That edge thing is very important in this technique, using a dry brush, you know, or a dry towel. And now I can come back and kind of find some broad highlights with the steel wool.
somebody pulling the rope. Somebody pulling the rope.
Oh yeah. Broad highlights.
We brought the wrong car. We could have brought that blow dart gun. You got.
Yeah.
That'll get him out.
BB gun.
We need a BB gun.
Get a little figure in here. We better establish some benchmarks here too.
So what are you using there?
Fiberglass brush.
Oh,
And
fiberglass.
with this fiberglass brush, again for features and stuff like that, it's invaluable.
So are you finding her mood? Are you finding her mood now, or?
Yeah, I mean, it'll go back and forth from half.
Well, between her knees.
How much you
Yeah,
can take,
too.
you know.
She's not used to being in front of a crowd.
She's not.
You know, it's usually a real quiet voice that says, you know, hey, pay attention, you know. And if you can listen, you know, then and that's the fight between the two sides of your brain. You know, one side is saying, okay, you know, let's like this, and this angle is 33 degrees, and you know, all this. That's the analytical side, and the other side is something you know. But it doesn't have the power of expression. You know, usually if you're battling this rational mind, you know, and so if you just let that, you know, a lot of times, you know, if you're having trouble, work with your other hand, you know, or work upside down, or get it out of context. You know, that's so important. It's important to analyze a piece in a mirror or upside down, you know, because you see things that your rational mind has taken for granted, you know, that, oh, I've done all the rules here,